Yeah, a very interesting question. Uh, Firstly, decarbonization has to happen in the electricity system of India. Electricity system in India has a significant amount of renewables, and renewables are actually joining the electricity system significantly. But the challenge is that India's electricity system is not very flexible. It has either coal or the renewables, right? Coal is not designed to be flexible, and similarly the renewables. So it's very, very important in India that if it has to be a flexible energy system, electricity system, then it has to have a significant amount of storage. But fortunately, India is also blessed with a very robust one national grid, one nation. So this gives us an opportunity to locate storages at a grid scale, with large scale storages anywhere in India, but address the generation, renewable energy generation at different parts of India to meet the demand at different other parts of India. So that is what is this national grid does. So like others, we may not have to depend on a small scale storage solutions. A good amount of the net zero or decarbonization journey can come from large scale grid connected storage systems. So in this respect, the Greenko's very early efforts, starting something like 2020, okay, our efforts towards building a planning, conceptualizing, planning and building a pumped storage plant, which is at Kurnool district in Andhra Pradesh, which is likely to be operational by end of this year or the next quarter, and multiple such storage systems that we are thinking about across India, actually will be able to solve the problem of the storage, initial challenge of problem of storage, and will be able to contribute to decarbonizing the electricity system significantly in India. But electricity is not all that energy. Electricity is a small a part of energy. Whether it is steel or any other sector, there are two things that could happen. Majority of these industries, hard to abate industries in India, they actually do captive power generation for a variety of reasons. The electricity system was not very reliable, hence they used to have their own power generating units, so they had captive power. So the first opportunity is that all that captive power now can be displaced and replaced by the 24 by 7 RE or dispatchable RE. That means the demand following RE. That means the way the steel company requires electricity, I can supply the same amount of electricity at a time in a day. That is one part of the. So most of these captive power plants, which is these hard to abate sectors, whether they are cement plants or steel plants or chemical plants, etc., all that can be replaced by 24 by 7 RE, which is produced from solar and wind and hydro, but supported by PSP, pumped storage, or any other form of storage, but pumped storage being the main. But another part is the lot of chemistry that happens. For example, iron ore needs to be reduced, right? And the chemistry that needs to happen can now happen, that reduction chemistry can happen now with hydrogen. So I need to get into the hydrogen economy. I need to run my mobility with hydrogen. I need to run my chemical reactions with hydrogen, etc., etc. For that, you require hydrogen as a base and derived fuels and chemicals. So, the pumped storage also helps that. Greenko has a very unique architecture of hydrogen production, low cost hydrogen production in the world. In different parts of the world where people want to produce hydrogen using the variable renewable energy, they use a different electrolyzer technologies and expensive electrolyzer technologies. Hence, the cost of producing hydrogen is high. Whereas in our context, we have a 24 by 7 electricity, renewable electricity. Hence, we can use alkaline electrolyzers which work quite well when the electricity is 24/7, and we can run that electrolyzer all the day, 24/7, full capacity utilization. And also we don't require to store hydrogen to the extent it is required if I use the variable electricity. Because of this unique architecture that we have, in India, we can actually produce with this architecture hydrogen, green hydrogen at a lower cost. And once we have that green hydrogen, the alternate green fuels can be derivatives of that green hydrogen, or hydrogen can in itself can be used as fuel. So you can run the mobility, you can run the ships, you can run sustainable aviation fuel, etc., etc. All the fuels can be replaced by these green fuels. And also some of the chemistry, for example, reduction of the iron ore can also be done by hydrogen, and production of various chemicals also can be done with hydrogen. So you would have a completely different kind of ecosystem, okay, which will be amenable and zero carbon new ecosystem. When you are actually producing electricity which is decarbonized, it is very difficult to export electricity. Whereas if from electricity, let us call that electricity as green electrons. From green electrons, if I can produce green molecules, may it be hydrogen, may it be ammonia, may it be methanol, these can be exported. Already Indian companies are competing or signing agreements, including Greenko, are signing agreements to export ammonia, to export many other green molecules. So by doing so, we are actually enabling the world to go net zero. So for the first time, India is becoming a net exporter of energy and net exporter of molecules. Okay, not net exporter, but an exporter of energy and exporter of molecules. And that is made possible only because you have an architecture of a PSP and a low, no, not, I wouldn't say, optimal cost of producing hydrogen, green hydrogen. So that is the reason why it has become possible.